Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing News.
The Canelo ducking narrative, part 1. And look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And everybody has built their channels, their platforms by calling Canelo Alvarez a duck. You've seen many of the biggest YouTube channels, many of the biggest boxing platforms calling Canelo a duck. All of these guys are united by saying Canelo Alvarez is a coward. He's ducking all of these top fighters. This man never fights the best. He only cherry picks. But then when you explore their narrative, it doesn't hold up. Think about this. They said that he would never fight Gennady Golovkin the first time. A lot of people were saying that he was going to duck this fight. He's afraid of this fight. This guy's a coochie. He would never fight him. And remind you, Gennady Golovkin was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And they said Canelo did not have the bolas to step in the ring with him. He literally fought this man 3 times. And he fought him at the peak of his career when he was at his very best, being pound-for-pound #1. And still got no credit for stepping in the ring with the guy that they called a monster. So they called Triple G a monster. They said this was a guy Canelo would never have the heart to even step in the ring with. He steps in the ring with him, and they never give him credit for taking the fight. They still call him a ducker. They still call him a coward. They still call him a cherry picker. Then he moves on to Danny Jacobs. You see Danny Jacobs, they said that, oh, Canelo's not going to fight a black fighter. He likes to fight these European guys. He's not going to fight no slick black fighter. He's not going to fight a black world champion. Look at Danny Jacobs. This man's a monster. He can box. He can punch. He's big. He's strong. He's going to school Canelo. The moment the fight's over, oh, Danny Jacobs trash. He's not slick like Charlo. He's not good like that guy. He's nothing. He's a nobody. You see the narrative evolve and change once again. There was a time that Danny Jacobs was supposed to be the guy to beat Canelo, but then once he got his ass whooped, oh, he's nobody. He's trash. Then you move on to Sergey Kovalev. It's funny that he gets no credit. Canelo Alvarez was the smaller man at 160 against all of these guys. He's the smaller man against all the guys at 168. And then he goes up to 175 to fight Sergey Kovalev, a reigning world champion coming off a knockout win, and gets no credit. And what's funny about it, right now today, that win that Canelo got over Sergey Kovalev would have been David Benavidez's best win, Demetrius Andre's best win, Jermall Charlo's best win, David Morrell's best win. Think about that. Think about that. All of these guys' best win would have been that version of Sergey Kovalev that Canelo beat, and yet Canelo Alvarez is undersized, has all the disadvantages, still had the nuts to fight the guy, and yet gets no credit or respect. Then Canelo moves on, and they say, well, you know, Canelo's not going to fight any of the killers at 168. All those guys are too big, too strong, too good. Canelo's a coochie. He only likes to cherry pick guys. This is who Canelo is. He's a cherry picker. He's a ducker. Okay, so then he fights Callum Smith. And when he fights Callum Smith is the World Boxing Super Series winner. He's the #1 consensus fighter at 168 pounds. So now people like to say Benavidez is, but how? He didn't even beat Callum Smith. He didn't even have the nuts to fight this man. So Canelo goes in there, beats the break off of Callum Smith. But prior to the fight, they were picking Callum by knockout. Prior to the fight, they're saying that he's going to destroy Canelo. After the fight, Callum Smith is nothing but a Euro bum. That's how the narrative changes. Then Canelo moves on to Billy Joe Saunders. Before the fight, Canelo can't beat slick fighters. Billy Joe Saunders, 2-weight world champion, too slick, too fast. He's going to school him. You remember that talk. You know, Billy Joe Saunders is just too good, just too slick. He's too dangerous of a fighter. Canelo has slow feet. His feet will never be able to catch up to Billy Joe Saunders. Then he breaks this man's face. And then once again, they say, oh, Billy Joe Saunders, he's not good. He's a Euro bum. Although these are the same people that were hoping, wishing, and praying that Billy Joe Saunders beat Canelo. These are the same guys who said Canelo was ducking Billy Joe Saunders. He would never fight a guy that skilled. We know he's going to get schooled because Canelo has no skills. You remember that talk. Canelo beats him. Oh, Billy Joe Saunders just a Euro bum. Then you move on to Caleb Plant. And then when you get to Caleb Plant, you see Everybody says, oh, he's training with Andre Ward. He's like a slick black fighter, but he's white. He's white chocolate. The man is skilled. The man can do this. The man can do that. Canelo can't compete with this guy. This is the first guy that Canelo's faced in years that has the skills, the jab, the ability to beat him. Plus, he's training with Andre Ward. Canelo's getting schooled. He's going to duck the fight. When there was a holdup in negotiations, oh, Canelo don't really want to fight Caleb Plant. Canelo's ducking Caleb Plant. So Canelo gets the fight done, overpays Caleb Plant, and he's the only man to date to knock this man out. Not even David Benavidez. What did they say about Canelo Plant after the fight? Oh, Caleb Plant is trash. He's nobody. What is he? He's just a white boy. Now he don't matter. He's no longer white chocolate. He no longer like a slick black fighter. They forget that Andre Ward helped prepare him for Canelo. They throw all of that out of the window and say that, oh, Canelo just fought another nobody. They forget the fact that they said he was ducking. They forget the fact that they said he was running. And then Canelo Alvarez goes on to fight Dimitri Bivol. When he fights Dimitri Bivol, these guys said, hey, you know, Canelo would never fight a guy like Bivol. Bivol and Better BF, those guys are killers. Canelo doesn't have the cojones to move up in weight and fight one of those guys. Remember, Canelo's undersized at 68. He's extremely undersized at 75. So Canelo moves up. Fight Dimitri Bivol. The moment he takes the fight, oh, Canelo's trying to cherry pick this guy. Canelo's trying to cherry pick this guy. Canelo loses. They say, oh, Canelo, he's exposed. He's trying to cherry pick a garbage ass fighter. Even though Bivol's the number one defensively rated fighter in boxing, it's a cherry pick now after the fight. He's exposed after the fight. After losing to a guy that's bigger than him at a weight class he does not belong. But it's a cherry pick. I thought the standard was Canelo didn't have the nuts to even fight this guy. He turns around and fights this guy. It's a cherry pick. Canelo never gets the credit for stepping up fighting the guys they say he's afraid to fight. Think about this. They said he's been ducking Jermall Charlo for years. Even though Canelo offered him the fight in 2019, they ignored that. But then Canelo offers him the fight again. They said Canelo would never sign with the PBC. Canelo doesn't want any of those good fights. He's going to stay with the zone and fight Edgar Berlanga. You remember those talks. All of those biased ass, hating ass fans. He's going to stay with the zone and fight Edgar Berlanga. Book it. I don't know how many times I've seen a fanboy say Canelo Berlanga next. Book it. Book it. He's too scared to fight a slick black fighter. He's too scared to fight any of these guys. So why are you pumping up Jermall Charlo just to call it a cherry pick the moment Canelo signs to fight him? Canelo signs to fight Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo then becomes a cherry pick. He becomes a trash fighter. He becomes garbage. He's not this. He's not that. Just a week ago, he was God. Just a week ago, he was a guy that they was afraid. For Canelo, they were saying Canelo would get exposed if he fought him. Canelo would get humiliated if he fought him. The moment Canelo signs with the PB and signs the fight, these guys' assholes get tight, and they're saying it's a cherry pick. Okay. Then they say, well, you know, Canelo should at least fought the little brother, Jermell. He's been running from him since 54. Jermell can outbox Canelo. Jermell is better than Canelo. So what happens? Jermall pulls out of the fight. Jermell steps in. You see all the fanboys go wild. Oh, Canelo's getting knocked out by Jermell. Canelo's getting outboxed by Jermell. Canelo's getting schooled by Jermell. Okay. Now, as the fight draws closer, they say, well, Canelo's cherry picking a little bitty fighter in Jermell. Jermell's just a little bitty guy. Even though he's bigger than Canelo, he's just a little guy now. Even though he's an undisputed champion, he's a nobody now. This is a cherry pick from Canelo. After calling these men and saying that Canelo's been ducking all of these guys for all these years, they all turn into nobodies, cherry picks, European bums, garbage black fighters, all of these things. Years later, after the fact, every time he sets to fight somebody, oh, but he's ducking 10 other guys. The guy he's fighting don't matter no more. It's no longer a duck. I don't care about that. I never said he was a duck. I never said that. I just said he was ducking all of these guys over here. It's always changing the narrative. No matter who Canelo fights, they're going to label it a duck. They're going to label it a cherry pick. They're going to discredit him for taking the fight. They're going to be what they are, and that's haters and booty clappers. Because men lie, women lie, but the facts don't lie.